Alright, this one's gonna be a little bit different. Because this is a TV series I'm reviewing in one shot. It's not really a TV series, it's a YouTube series. This review is for the YouTube series Marble Hornets. I've watched it several times before, but I rewatching it, I'm like, you know what? I might give this a review, because there's some things I need to talk about. So, quit the... There, better. So, what is it about? The story. I always start with the story. Well, this is a YouTube series that is totally independent. It's not like a YouTube Red or anything. It's a series. I don't remember their real names, but Troy and something. But I came up with this series based on the Slender Man myth. And they called it Marble Hornets. Marble Hornets being the name of the fictional film that one Alex Crayley is trying to make. And it follows Jay, Alex's friend Jay, who's trying to find Alex Crayley after he's like disappeared. And before this happened, they were working on Marble Hornets together, and Alex one day decided he was done making the film and gave Jay all the tapes. Although this is contradicted later, but he gave Jay all the tapes, and Jay stored them in the back of his closet, didn't even look at them, until one day he had to look at them, because he didn't know what happened to Alex. Hasn't heard from him in a long time, so he had to look at the tapes. When he found on the tapes was strange, tall, pale-looking man showing up in all the videos. And the more this strange man appears, the more erratic Alex acts. A few more key characters. There's, first of all, let's talk about the cast of Marble Hornets. There's a female whose name I don't remember, so I'm not even going to mention her, but there's Brian. Brian's best friend, Tim. There's the cameraman, Seth. And Jay and Alex. And they're all working on Marble Hornets. And, at the time. And they're separated into sort of seasons. There's a certain amount of entries. They're not very long entries either. I think the first 24 entries of season 1, and the next several there. Season 2, season 3, whatever. But season 1 is mostly about, and like most TV shows, season 1 is vastly different from what the rest of the series ends up becoming. Season 1 is about him trying to find Alex Crayley. Jay trying to find Alex Crayley. So he's going through all the tapes and he's posting what he finds, like YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that, so that people can help him figure stuff out. And there are several clues given. Like after a while, it appears that Brian just seems to disappear. There's a video where they're at Brian's house, but they don't know where Brian is. And there's certain things taped that Jay doesn't even remember. An interview with Tim, where he's talking and the sound goes off, and Jay doesn't even remember the interview. And I think there's a scene at Tim's house where they're talking, and the whole, we don't know, Brian is somewhere, we don't know. He doesn't remember that either. The lore in this is that, like, Slender Man, or the Operator as he's known, they don't call him that, but that's what he's known in the mythos of this show, is that the Operator can mess with your memory, make you black out for a few days at a time, maybe even longer. And like I said, season 1 is basically trying to find Alex. He gets close, and while looking through this stuff, he finds there are 2 masked men named Masky and Hoodie. And there's also, I didn't watch these videos, but I know about them. There's a group, at least 3 people called To the Ark, and Hoodie and Masky are a part of that. And there's a third person. I'll discuss who I believe the third person is, and it's obvious, but I also got this information from another YouTube channel. I don't remember the name, but I remember they gave me this information and it makes sense. So I'll fill that in later. So I gotta reveal who Hoodie and Masky is. Season 1 basically ends with after he goes, he thinks that they're hiding at Brian's house. He goes to Brian's house. He finds some stuff there, but he is attacked by the operator. And then he goes back and he's attacked by not only the operator, but Masky as well. And he says he's done going there, and he's kind of stopped doing, he's noticed that in the last several days, he's doing better. No blackouts, he's not coughing, he's doing better, he's doing fine. So he's going to be done posting stuff for a while. And then he's constantly, because there's a video where he has locked himself in his apartment, his room or whatever. And he's got a camera pointing towards the door on the outside and a camera pointing in at him. And there's a scene where he opens the door and he leaves. Then he comes back. He replays it with both cameras side by side there, and it shows him opening one door, but not going out. Opening the door and going out in one side, but nothing happens on the other side. Which means there's magic afoot. And after this, he decides he's done posting. He's moving from place to place. His apartment that he was in was burned to the ground. He finds several videos of Alex supposedly murdering people at a location somewhere. And he's just done looking for, I think that's like season 2, but he's done looking for Alex. He finds the tape, and there's a return address, and he plans on going to the return address, and that's where season 1 ends. But season 2 picks up. It's 7 months later, and Jay wakes up in a strange hotel room, not knowing where he is, not knowing the area where he is, and he meets this girl named Jessica who's staying in the adjoining room next to his. And he doesn't know, he has a strange feeling that she's connected to it. He doesn't know, he tries to look around, can't really figure out anything. And he realizes he had a blackout. And he's blacked out the last 7 months of his life. And then he wants to try to figure out what happened. He knows Jessica's connected to it, but he keeps changing his story. Like, he tells her that his house is being fumigated first time. Another time is that his job relocated him here. Or that he's doing, another one is that he's doing a documentary on hotels. So he changes it. You can't remember. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I think his memory's been messed with. That it's so bad that he can't remember what excuse he gave. But he soon realizes there's a connection between him and Jessica, so they decide to work together. But they have to get out because there's strange. He keeps hearing strange noises from Jessica's side of the room. She claims that she's, been asleep, and they decide they gotta get out, they gotta leave, and that night, something happens where she is gone. He says, okay, start packing and I'll come get you. Knocks on the door, nothing. He goes in, there's no one there. A little bit of signs of a scuffle, but nothing too prominent. He finds a piece of paper with 4 letters on it, 1102. That's the code to get into the, I didn't mention that. There's a safe in his room that he didn't know the combination to. And it's that number, which is the last 4 digits of Jessica's phone number. And in there is all the tapes and a hard drive that shows what happened. And it turns out that he did go to the location of the return address. It was a rundown little house. Because these are guys that are on a budget. They couldn't afford. They had, you only go to abandoned places. And I understand that. So you go there. Eventually they find Alex. And they find Maskey. And Maskey is revealed to be Tim. And Alex breaks Tim's leg. And the video cuts out or whatever. And then there's other videos showing how he met Jessica, because the video that was sent to him had, I've got to tell you about that part. In season 1, there was a video that was sent to Jay that Alex and his girlfriend Amy being attacked by the operator. And Alex really doesn't do anything, but Amy has gone missing, so they're searching for Amy, and I talked to Amy's roommate, Jessica. That's how she fits in. Eventually, things come to a boil between Alex and Jay, because Jay's trying to help, but Alex seems like he's not doing anything, and to a fact that we find out he doesn't at first, that he actually called Jessica and told her that, after an interaction with the operator, that he talked to Amy, everything is fine. So, a few months pass, and Jay still wants to continue this because he knows there's something going on. And so he forces Alex to give him Jessica's phone number when he throws Alex's keys in his car and locks the car. And so he's supposed to give him a number, and he brings Jessica into it because he wants to figure out what's going on. And that's when Jessica tells him that Alex told her months ago that he talked with Amy, and Jay knows that's not true. So Alex decides he's going to bring both Jay and Amy to somewhere, and he's planning to kill them. And once again, Maskey, Tim, gets involved and stops Alex. This is the last we see of Alex for a while, because then Jessica and Jay grab whatever tapes he has, plus the hard drive from Alex's car and the strap-on camera, and go to the hotel. And it's that night that they both black out, because the operator comes for him. He's like, leave me alone. He runs at him, and then that's where it connects. He's now found out everything he needs to know what happened in the last 7 months. And this leads into season 3, where while he was scoping through town, who's he running into? But Tim. And Tim has been back to normal. No more blackouts, no more forgetting what's going on. Everything. Nothing. So now it's Jay and Tim. Jay bumps into Tim. He tries talking to him. During season 1, he did talk to Tim and tell him he's trying to keep making the Marble Hornets film. They never talked again after that. And then it's during this that he tells him again he's making a film. But then Tim gets smart and he searches Marble Hornets and he finds all the footage that has been shown. And so he confronts Jay, and they have this big old fight. You lied to me. And And there's something going on with Tim, but we're not ever fully given an explanation as to what he. Because there's a point where Tim tells Alex about the abandoned hospital they could use for a school, and they go to check it out, and that's when everything hits the fan, where the operator shows up and everything. But it's never really explored. It is shown that the burned out room was Tim's room, which leads us to believe it's never fully answered, but it leads to believe that Tim was the one who burned down the hospital. Tim explains that when he was younger, he was like afraid of something that nobody else could see, and he was brought in, and they settled on schizophrenia, but they still weren't sure what it was, and he would take off and end up in Rossman Park, or Rosswood Park, which is where most of it takes place, except for the last few episodes, which takes place at this abandoned school, which I think they couldn't film in Rosswood anymore. I don't know, but the first two seasons are okay. It's when you get deep into the third season that it's like, the first season was good, the second season was good, but the third season is okay at first. Once you get to the later episodes, it kind of gets complicated. Like, the first problem that they do is there's a tape that Tim has been hiding from Jay for a good reason, because it shows what happened to Jessica. Sort of. It shows that Maskey, or Tim, carried her down the stairs. Alex showed up and took her with him and was going to kill her until there was a scuffle between Maskey and Alex, and the operator showed up, and then she's just laying there motionless like she's dead. And then it's like daylight, and the operator makes her disappear. Because the operator does that, there's a scene where Alex kills some random guy in a tunnel, which is where he brings everybody to kill them, apparently. There's a scene where Jay wakes up in a barn or something in the woods, and Tim is also there. And that's when they realize they gotta work together, right? But then, when Jay goes by himself to cross through the tunnel, he finds the barn, but he knows they didn't have to go through the tunnel to get back from the barn before. So it's all messed up. And something happens to Jay then. Like, Jay was fine, he was feeling better, and then once this happened, he started acting differently again. Because, like I said, this tape really implements Tim in what happened to Jessica, so it splits them apart, which I think was a problem, because they needed to work together. And even Tim says, if I showed you, you need to see it, but not yet, or it's going to ruin everything. And it did. Because Jay started judging things for himself. Like, oh, you're a bad person. He didn't. For some reason, I don't know if Hoodie and Maskey were connected or to the Ark. Because that's what it was. Were connected with the operator at all. But it just, I don't know, because it seemed like the distortions were still happening with the operator and everything. But maybe the operator was trying to stop them. I don't know. But maybe they were trying to save Jessica, because if they were near Jay, she was near Jay, she's going to be in trouble. I don't know. But another thing I don't understand is why Alex's solution was to kill everyone. I know at the end when he's talking to Tim, he says that, like, once you're dead, it'll all be over or something. But I don't understand why he has to kill everyone. It's implied that he killed Seth and Amy and the other girl and Jessica, but Jessica didn't get killed by him. But, like, you know, he killed everybody. And Brian, it is revealed that Brian is Hoodie. And here's another problem. They do flashbacks. They film flashbacks in the third season, but here's the thing. The first season starts in 2010, right? So they look different than when they do in, which is from 5 years ago, which was 2014, right? So they look vastly different. Like when they first show Alex, he's got this mop top, and glasses. But when they do in a flashback, they have him wearing a hat and no glasses, and he looks recognizably older. The same thing with Brian. Brian was a little chubbier when he was younger. Now he doesn't in the version in the flashback that they filmed. He doesn't. He looks, not. He looks older. And Tim too, and because Tim gained weight between 2010 and 2014, and they noticeably his hair was a little bit longer there than it was in the first season. It was short. He had this little short comb over thing, and most likely this was filmed after the rest because they had him shave his beard off, and they added it in there. That's what it looked like. It's try to do flashbacks, and the stuff with Jay in flashbacks works because they just put a hat on him, and he doesn't really look like he's changed much. But and the one thing that is really confusing is that the YouTube channel I'm talking about that told me information said that everything with Jessica was filmed at the same time. So the stuff at the hotel, the stuff with Jay and Alex, the stuff with everything with Alex in the woods and Maskey and the operator, and the end where Tim, who's the only survivor because Jay dies, spoiler alert, because they separated. If they didn't separate, he'd probably still be alive. But no, he would listen. But Tim goes to a clinic, and there's Jessica. They don't explain what happened to her, how she got there, nothing. And it's like she barely remembers Jay. Well, she wouldn't really. Now that I think about it. Like, she never really knew him. But it seems like, she says, I wish I could have met him. Like, you did meet. But then he starts coughing again. And, which is that's a telltale for if the operator's near, they start coughing. And then the screen starts acting weird. He starts coughing, the screen starts acting weird. Then it cuts to Tim driving. And then he turns the camera towards the screen, towards the road. And it ends. And it just says, everything is fine. That's how it ends. And that 1,000 freaking questions. How is Jessica alive? What happened? What really happened? Where to go? What's going on? I mean, there's things that are on the film that they don't remember. Like I mentioned, that we're led to believe that Alex gave Jay the tapes and he just took them and left. But there's a video where it's presented to us that Jay took the tapes, was attacked by Alex, and left for the operator. But the operator didn't take him. And that's when they go. It's a really freaky moment, this too. Is that Jay and Tim go to Alex's old apartment, or house, whatever, and start searching. It's broad daylight. They go in the basement to look around, and when they turn back, they look out the window down there, and it's dark. Pitch dark. Nighttime. And then the operator shows up, but Tim's able to fight it off. The pills that he has build immunity. There's a thing where these pills, which are Tim's prescription pills, I guess, will fight it off. So, are they saying that the operator is some kind of disease that spread among them? And Tim says to Alex during the climax of the whole series that he's been dealing with it since he was a kid. He knows how to suppress it. That means that Tim's still not telling us something. He explained to Jay what happened, what was going on. We know that, you can figure out that it was Tim who burned down the hospital. He doesn't say that. There was more to his story he didn't share. There was more going on with what was going on he didn't share. He never explained what the 2 to ARC thing was, even though I don't think he remembered. But he was part of it. Him, Brian, and spoiler alert, Seth, the cameraman. There's a video where he's attacked by Alex and left for the operator. But I don't know if we ever see the operator take him or not. Or if he's left for dead, I don't know. But if Brian and Tim both survive their attacks, he could survive too. But from what the other channel describes is that it's clearly 3 people doing the messages at the beginning of it, and then it starts to change. The red, which is supposed to be Seth's color, stops, and after a while it's just Brian because he's wanting Tim to come back to him. I don't know, it's very confusing. Like I said, the first season was really good, second season was alright. When you get the third season, everything gets complicated when they split Jay and Tim apart, and they don't give us the answers that we need. Like, what was up with the school at the end? They say that it's possible that's the school that Alex was going to go to be with Amy, but from the look of it, no one has been in that school for a while. There's no way that school is even active. It was all messed up. There's no way. It's just very confusing. I think they had to move things along to different shooting locations. I do like what they do. There's a teleportation thing they do towards the end where Tim is trying to fight off Hoodie, Brian, and they're running through it. It's teleporting from the school to the hospital to the tunnel to this arc, which is supposedly the other world where the Slender Man comes from. It's like a parking lot surrounded by an orange aura. You know, it's just very confusing, but it is a good YouTube series. Check it out. I will admit, when I first saw it, I did get creeped out. I was a little bit scared, but I'm over that now. Yeah, I know it's just a YouTube. Holy shit, he's here. I'm just kidding. He's not here. There's no Slender Man. Everything's fine. There's no Slender Man. What happened to the light? Okay, I'm done. I'm trying to be creepy. I'm trying to freak people out. It's not working. So yes, let's see. I don't usually rate TV series, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it I'll give it a 7 because it's decent. All right. So what are your thoughts on Marble Hornets? Have you seen it? If not, it's on YouTube for free, man. Check it out, Marble Hornets. There's 87 episodes. It'll take you 8 hours to watch. I watched it over the last couple of days, but it's okay. It's good. Watch it. Until next time, though, like, share, subscribe. Love chicken. Love, peace, chicken grease.